For 3 years, I sent my parents for $1,000 a month. They thought it was from my sister. Until I exposed everything at my dad's 60th birthday. The clink of crystal glasses echoed through the private dining room, mingling with laughter and the low hum of classical piano in the background. The steakhouse had spared no expense: deep red velvet chairs, gold-etched menus, and candlelight flickering off polished mahogany. It was my father's 60th birthday, and the guest list was exclusive: old colleagues, extended family, and a few family friends. And of course, us Mom, Sienna, and me. Sienna sat at the far end, glowing in her emerald green dress, the golden child as always. Her laugh, her effortless charm, the way she held everyone's attention, it hadn't changed. But I had. And tonight, so would everything else. Dad stood at the head of the table, wine glass in hand, his voice booming with pride. 60 years. And I've built a life I'm proud of. But what I'm most grateful for is my family, especially my daughter Sienna, always providing, always supporting us for, a month without fail. Our rock. There was applause, smiles, even a few misty eyes. I didn't clap. I reached into my coat pocket, pulled out 3 envelopes, and placed them gently on the table in front of me. I have a toast too, I said calmly, rising from my seat. Forks paused midair. Conversations died. Even the waiter froze in place, hovering near the wine. Sienna's smile faltered. Mom tilted her head slightly. Dad looked annoyed that I dared interrupt his moment. I tapped the first envelope. This one, I said, contains every bank receipt of the monthly payments made to you and Mom under Sienna's name. Every transfer, every month, for 3 years. A few murmurs rippled around the table. Sienna stiffened. I tapped the second envelope. This is a full report from a private investigator. Sienna hasn't had a job in over 2 years. She got fired from her last marketing gig. She's been lying. The only money you've been receiving is mine. Silence. Mom's hand went to her mouth. Dad's brow furrowed, but still he said nothing. And then the third envelope. This one's my favorite, I said, my voice flat now. Screenshots of messages. Sienna laughing at how you believed she was the one supporting you. Calling me a fool. Saying I was too soft to say anything. I looked straight at my father. You shouted at me over 50 cents. Compared me to her. Told me I was unworthy of our name. But I paid your bills. I kept your lights on. I fed your illusion. He looked like someone had slapped him with a brick. Mom whispered. Is this true? Sienna stood, face flushed, wine glass toppling over in front of her. He's lying. He's obsessed with me. Always has been. Jealous. Pathetic. I didn't even look at her. Instead, I turned to the rest of the room, his colleagues, our aunts, cousins, the few friends who knew us best. I didn't care about the credit. I never wanted applause. I just wanted peace. But peace built on lies isn't peace. It's silence. And tonight, I'm done being quiet. Dad finally found his voice, low and shaking. Why would you do all this? I met his eyes and, for the first time in years, made sure he saw me. Because when I told you that was me, you didn't even blink. I left before dessert. Before the silence. There was love. We weren't always like this. I remember Sunday mornings with pancake syrup on our fingers, movie nights where we all shared one blanket on the couch, matching pajamas on New Year's Eve. Laughter echoed. A family that felt unbreakable. Sienna was always the star. She sparkled even as a kid. Honor roll, school plays, prom queen. I was the quiet one. I didn't mind. She had light in her, and I was proud to stand in her shadow. Proud to be her brother. Proud to protect her. When Dad got laid off and Mom's hours were cut, Sienna had just landed a marketing job in the city. They bragged about it endlessly. Our girl made it. The one who always had potential. I was already working freelance gigs, consulting, contracts. I didn't talk about. I didn't need praise. I just wanted to help. That first payment? It was an accident. Sienna had called me crying. Her landlord was threatening eviction, and she couldn't tell our parents without disappointing them. I wired the money. The same night. It didn't stop there. Credit card debt. Rehab for what she called a stress detox. 2 maxed out credit cards under her name, but guess whose bank accounts they were connected to? Me. She didn't ask for permission. She just expected. And I gave. Quietly. Willingly. Because I thought keeping the illusion alive was more important than telling the truth. Then she stopped saying thank you. At first, I thought it was stress. Then I noticed the patterns: missed calls, short texts, disappearing when I needed her. My birthday came. Nothing. Not even a message. But mom and dad got flowers. A fancy dinner out. Paid for, of course, by the account I had been quietly funding under her name. And when I visited home, I heard them say it. Sienna looks after us. God blessed us with her. She's so successful. Always helping out. They never mentioned me. Never asked how I was doing. Just compared. Measured. Found me wanting. One night at dinner, I sent a payment late. Just for a day. Dad slammed his fist on the table. Only 50 cents. You think that's enough? Sienna sends $4,000 a month and never says a word. My breath caught in my throat. I said it softly. That was me. He didn't even blink. But mom did. Her eyes snapped to mine, disbelief turning to anger. Stop stealing her credit. She spat. Don't ruin this family with your jealousy. That was it. I didn't cry. I didn't fight. I just nodded. And something inside me, something warm, went still. The next morning, I canceled every scheduled transfer, shut down the shared bank funnel, locked my accounts. I told no one. I just waited. 2 weeks later, Dad called. We didn't get anything this month. You wouldn't know anything about that, would you? I didn't answer. I let the silence work. That was the moment everything began to crack. After Dad's call, I stared at my phone for a long time. Not because I didn't know what to say, but because I knew that from this point on, every move had to be calculated. I had given them everything. My money, my silence, my loyalty. And in return, I got nothing but blame and erasure. But this time, I wasn't going to speak. I was going to show. I found a private investigator through a colleague. Discreet, experienced, no flashy car or trench coat. Just a woman named Rita with sharp eyes and a sharper memory. I gave her one name, Sienna Navarro, and one instruction. Tell me everything she doesn't want anyone to know. It took 3 days. Sienna had been laid off from her marketing job over 18 months ago. Budget cuts apparently, but she never told anyone. Her resume still said she was employed. Her LinkedIn was polished and glowing. Her social media? Luxury. Spa days, rooftop dinners, fake smiles. But she wasn't making money. She was bleeding it. The money I'd been sending under her name to our parents never made it to her bank. She had debts in 3 cities, 1 eviction warning, a defaulted credit card, and still trips to Bali, new outfits every month, weekend getaways with friends who had no idea she was unemployed and coasting on someone else's paycheck. My paycheck, Rita's report was thick, detailed, brutal. But what twisted the knife deepest was a screenshot from a text Sienna had sent to a friend. Lol. My family still thinks I'm sending them money. He's too soft to say anything. Me, not my brother, not Ethan. Just a faceless bank account. I closed the file and stared at the wall of my apartment. Cold, still, not angry, just hollow. And then, slowly, something started to fill that hollow space. Not rage, not revenge. Clarity. I had protected her for too long, covered for her, loved her more than she ever understood. But love built on lies isn't love. It's servitude. And I wasn't her servant anymore. The confrontation had to be public. Not for drama, for accountability. No more private conversations that could be twisted or denied. No more silent sacrifices mistaken for weakness. Dad's 60th birthday was the perfect stage. Formal, polished, respectable, and just intimate enough to make sure the truth would echo in every corner of the family. I planned every detail. Black suit, clean shave, no tie. Understated, confident. 3 envelopes, Sealed and labeled. Recips investigation report screenshots. Didn't want to destroy anyone. I just wanted the truth to sit where the lies had been sitting for too long. Let them look me in the eye. Let them finally see who had been holding them up all along. I didn't wait for dessert. I didn't need to dot as I stepped out of the restaurant. That night, the air was cold, crisp, and quiet, so quiet. It almost felt like the world had exhaled after holding its breath for years. I walked alone. No one followed. I didn't expect them to. That room behind me was filled with broken illusions, gasps still hanging in the air, and a silence my voice had finally earned. I went home, poured myself a glass of water, and sat in the dark. No tears, no triumph, just stillness. The messages started the next morning. Mom, we need to talk. Please. I didn't know. I swear I didn't know. Sienna, you humiliated me. You think you're so noble? You're just bitter, jealous, vindictive. I didn't respond to either. The day after that, Dad called. For the first time in months, years, I let it ring. He didn't leave a voicemail. It took exactly 1 week for Sienna to move out of our parents' house. Rita had told me she was living there again, quietly, pretending to save money while bragging to friends about city life. But now, that safety net had snapped. She was on her own. Mom sent a second message, longer this time. It read like an apology, but sounded like a negotiation. We were wrong. I was wrong. I didn't see what you were doing for us. I thought you were cold, but you were just quiet. I'm sorry. Please let's talk. I read it 3 times, then archived it. I wasn't angry anymore. Anger requires energy, hope, expectation. I had none left for them. They had buried me for years, beneath praise for Sienna, beneath expectations I was never allowed to question. And I let them. I helped them shovel the dirt. I smiled through it, told myself peace mattered more than acknowledgement, but peace built on lies is a prison. And I had finally walked out. There were no more payments. No birthday cards. No calls on holidays. I didn't block them. I just stopped replying. I still saw them online. Photos from dinners where my name was never mentioned. Forced smiles. Hollow captions. And sometimes I saw them glance at the camera like they were looking for someone that wasn't there. Good. I didn't need revenge. I didn't want them to suffer. I just wanted them to know what it felt like when the person holding everything together stepped away quietly, firmly, permanently. Sometimes silence is weakness, but sometimes it's clarity, a statement louder than any scream. And now, it was mine. Months passed. Winter came and went. Spring stretched across the skyline, and I watched the seasons change from the quiet of my apartment. No chaos, no secrets, no daily transfers draining my soul. I had money now, sure, but that wasn't the real gain, the real treasure. Weightlessness. For the first time in years, I woke up not wondering if someone needed something from me. I didn't check Sienna's bank account balance. I didn't stalk my parents' Instagram for signs of validation. I didn't care what they said about me. I had stopped playing a role in their illusion, and they had no idea how to rewrite the story without me. One afternoon, I ran into an old family friend at a cafe. She hadn't been at Dad's birthday dinner, but she had heard. I heard about what happened. She said gently, stirring her coffee. It must have taken a lot of strength. I didn't say much, just nodded. She leaned in. You know, your father, he doesn't talk about it, but I think he's embarrassed. Not just about what your sister did, but about what he missed. That stayed with me. Not because I wanted him to be embarrassed, but because I had wanted him to see me. All those years, I never asked for praise, just recognition, a glance, a thank you. But I had learned something in the silence that followed my exit. Some people won't value what you do for them until you stop doing it. And even then, it's not always love they feel, it's loss, and regret, and guilt, but not love. And that's okay. Not every story needs a reconciliation. Not every wound needs to be reopened to prove it's healed. Some things you leave behind so they don't infect what's still growing inside you. I started seeing a therapist, started traveling, took a trip by myself to Iceland, walked along black sand beaches with nothing but the sound of wind and waves. I felt small there, in a beautiful, honest way. For once, being invisible didn't hurt. It felt free. One day, I opened a drawer I hadn't touched in a while and saw the old envelopes, the receipts, the screenshots, the proof of everything. I smiled, then burned them. Not out of anger, but because I didn't need them anymore. They weren't the story. I was. And I didn't need evidence to exist. I didn't need documentation to justify the years I held everyone together. I knew who I was, and now, so did they. Sometimes silence is a wound, but sometimes it's a door. And when you walk through it, you don't look back. You don't knock. You don't ask for permission. You just close it and keep walking.